Hi guys, welcome to Skylight Music Studios. I'm Lee, and today I'm going to elaborate slightly further on the basic eighth note beats. We're now going to call them advanced eighth note beats because we've added some 16th notes on the snare drum. We're now going to add some 16th notes on the bass drum, and this is probably the hardest thing that we're going to do in this sort of series. Previously I've mentioned that the hands tend to develop with drummers quicker than the feet because we use them a little bit more. The bass drum is playing less in a bar than the hands are playing. So this might be quite complex to play. This might be difficult, but I'm going to talk you through it. I'll play it and I'll count over the top, and then I'll explain exactly what's happening. Okay? So as in previous videos, the right hand is just going to stick to, when I do bring it in, it's going to stick to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So that's playing just the eighth notes. The left hand will probably stick with just 2 and 4 for this, and we'll add 16th notes with the bass drum. Now if we were counting a 16th note bar, it would be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So what's happening there is that I'm counting E's and A's that weren't previously in the bar with the 1s and the ands and the 2s, etc. And that's where the bass drums are going to fall now. They're going to fall some in unison with the hi-hat and some on their own. So let me just sort of play through this and sort of give it a count, and then I'll explain what's going on. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You get that? Let's go again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what's happening is the bass drum is playing 1 and after 2, and then on 3. That gives it 2 quick beats. 1 and 2 and 3, but then I'm adding the and in as well, so in effect you've got 3 beats playing quite close together, but only 2 of them are really quick. The other one is sort of 8 notes apart. So let's just show that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the thing we need to practice for this is quick beats. Yeah? Get your foot used to doing a couple of quick beats. Because when this is travelling at sort of a medium speed, it could be this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That bass drum's now really cooking, and that's going to get difficult. Now we need to divide the bass drum, move it away from the right hand. Previously it's only played when the right hand has played. So if I played an eighth note series on the hi-hat, I might have just played 1 and etc. on the bass drum. Now we're going, yeah, a 3 and. So the bass drum is playing away from the hi-hat, the same as the snare drum did in the previous videos. So we've got a 3 and, okay? The thing to practice for this is to play 2 beats on the bass drum and hit the hi-hat on the second beat. So we're doing this, okay? 2 bass drum beats. You go bass on its own, and then bass and hand unison. Now of course this will happen the other way around as well, so you might want to practice the bass drum and the hi-hat in unison, and then the bass drum on its own. Okay? Now to complete the technique, you really should do it both ways. So we're going to go that way. And imagine that maybe just as a 1 type count, so a 1, yeah? And then we're going to go 1E, 1E, okay? So that separates the bass drum, but also plays with the hi-hat at the same time. That's the technique we need for this beat, okay? The snare drum's going to sit on 2 and 4, keep it simple, and the bass drum is going to go on those 16ths as well as on the eighth notes. So let me play that rhythm to you slowly, and hopefully you'll hear the count over the top. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. Again. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. I'm going to do it really slowly, just once so you can hear it, and then I'll do a few back to back so you get the feel of it. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. So that bass drum is now getting complicated, right? Now when we play them faster, play the whole thing as a groove, and keep it cycling as if we're in song mode, it really starts to pick up though. And then we can add some 16ths with the left hand as well. So I might elaborate the part. I'll see how I feel. So I got a little bit more complicated. I took the bass drum in another direction. I'll give you a few bars just to settle in with, and then I moved it around a bit. Now, of course, if you're playing in a song, you may want to keep it more consistent, but depending on the song parts, you may change the bass drum anyway, so that's all fine. Just to say that there are bass drums falling on E's and As, 16th notes, okay? And they will, again, add another sort of bubble texture to the rhythm that was previously quite basic. You put that hand in there as well and you get some really interesting things. Something maybe like this. Okay, so that's overkill, that's playing everything. But all it is a basic 8th note pattern with 16th notes played on the snare and the bass drum, and that sort of gives you a nice sort of complex, almost like a sort of a fusion, rock fusion type pattern, sort of old Lenny White days of Return to Forever, that type of thing. But those things are really fun to play. You wouldn't play that in every rock and pop set, and you wouldn't do that in a Beatles gig, but you might do it in another setting. Either way, whether you're going to play it in your band or not, you want to be able to do it because it gives you freedom of your limb movement, okay? And that's what we're going for here. We're going for some real freedom, so that your coordination is absolutely top notch, and that will lead us down further routes later on. Guys, that was quite a complex lesson, and I know we don't have long to get through everything on these videos. And if you have any questions, of course, get back to us and we'll gladly answer anything you need to know. But I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing it for you, and I'll see you really soon. Thanks, bye-bye.